Hello?
I can hear noise. I can't see anything, but I can hear you. That's progress.
Okay, yeah, sorry. We're so sorry.
Is this still an okay time, or how are you guys doing?
Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah,
Okay,
we're both home. Thank you.
fantastic. Wonderful. Yeah, sometimes life gets ahead of us. Totally fine. That's why I figured I would send the link just for easy
Yeah.
access.
And thank you for being
Yeah,
flexible with us. We appreciate it.
yeah, absolutely. Again, life happens, so we've got to roll with it sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, I still can't see your screen. I don't know how much it matters too much. As long as you can see and hear me, I'm sure we can still accomplish a lot for today. How are things going? How are you guys doing?
Yeah, so we actually have a surprise in that we got Winnie a little sister. Um,
Get
Yeah,
out.
so we felt in our heart that Winnie is definitely super of like a packed animal. She loves like when we walk together and things like that. So yeah, we
Okay.
just made the decision. And so I think a few things, the medication we feel like is finally helping her. And then her little sister is helping her even more. Like for example, yesterday she was out, had us outside for 40 minutes. Winnie did, and we kept on walking in the same spots because we were just following her lead, like wherever she wanted to go. So we were basically going in circles.
Okay.
But we have not been outside for that long, and I can't remember the last time. And she wanted to stay out, like she didn't want to go back in. So and I think we've had those experiences like slowly but surely, but that's been like the biggest win thus far.
Nice.
Hmm.
Yeah. Tell me more about this. First of all, what kind of dog is the new dog? How old is the new dog?
Yeah, so we just got her last week, and she's now going to be 11 weeks old. So we got her when she was 10 weeks.
Puppy.
And yeah, so she's a puppy with a lot of energy. And she is a golden doodle, a or medium golden doodle. So she's
Okay.
very similar in terms of like, she reminds me a lot of Winnie, except we're hoping that, like, just based on the test that they did of like the temperaments, we're hoping that she'll have like a little bit more of that confidence. So that way, again, she'll kind of help Winnie. They'll balance each other out basically, where Winnie will help calm her a little bit, and then she'll help Winnie gain that confidence over time,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I love that she was already able to be out for 40 minutes. What were you guys doing? Like, was she sniffing? Were they interacting with each other, or what was that
It was
like?
a mix of everything. I think Winnie always starts out like a little bit more independently, where she'll still wait for her and stuff like that, but she'll kind of just walk ahead. And yes, she'll walk, she'll sniff. And we're basically, it's kind of hard to describe, but we're basically walking in two different directions. Like we're walking on the side of our house, and then we're walking on the side of like the house where she normally pees at. So she kind of takes us always to the same spots, but they're in different, like, how would you describe it? They're like different areas, I guess you can say. And then she'll sniff a lot. So she's been doing a lot of sniffing,
Good,
a lot of
good.
observing. Like she'll take us on the side of the house where you can get in through the front, and there's like a busy street, and she'll literally sit there and engage, and then people will walk by and she'll walk out to sniff where they had walked. And then in the between, when Junie starts to get hyper as the other dog, she will start to play with her, and then she'll be like, okay, enough, and then she'll like continue walking around and like sniffing and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, it's short distances and it's the same places that she walks, but yeah, 41 minutes was like a long time. So we're
Yeah,
very happy.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
a huge win for her to be outside that long and not have to need all the contraptions, right? Like the hush muff happy hoodie thing, like just genuinely
Yeah.
be exploring the world and
Mhm.
having a sister that's helping with that. That's tremendous. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so far so good. She's also been teaching her how to play with the tug of war rope or whatever, and yeah, it's been great.
Yay. So they're getting along inside, like there haven't been any tiffs of like just in terms of like dynamics of learning to get along. Was it a pretty seamless transition when you brought Junie home?
I would say so for the most part. I think Winnie, of course, the
Nice.
first day she was a little bit like, "What's going on?" And then not knowing like, are you guys still gonna give me attention? Like, is she staying? Like, what's happening? But then quickly after that, she was warming up each day of like she'd go to her crate and like want us to let her out. And yeah, just overall, she's been super great, and they've both been great. Because a little puppy, like Winnie will play like with her like a little bit more because Winnie plays a little bit more rough. She knows how to be gentle with
Sure.
her still, but she does like to play rough. And so the puppy will just give it right back to her. So they have a really good dynamic where they'll play nice and soft, but they'll also play rough sometimes. So, but
Okay.
not anything like super aggressive or anything crazy.
Awesome. So they're listening to each other, right? Like they're if you
Yeah.
we're into this or we're not into this or we'll tone it down. I love that. Yay.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Tremendous. And that, like you said, I think now that Winnie's been on medications for a little while now, we think that the combination of things is helping. Like, how were things going before you got Junie home? Were you like, or were things already going pretty well based on just the medications?
They were going well. Like, she'd be a little more curious to go out further and, explore a little bit. But I feel like she's been really thriving when we got Junie, because she'll see, like, at first, excuse me, at first she wouldn't want to like walk that far, but then she'll see Junie run ahead, and then she's like, "Oh, okay, like that little dog is going, I'm gonna go too." So I feel like it's been helping her, and we've been yesterday was one of the longest and like best moments that we've had. But
Okay.
even before yesterday, like this past week that we've had Junie, she's been exploring more and walking a little bit further than usual. So I feel like this has definitely helped a lot more than just the medication. But I think we were kind of getting there
Yeah.
before this.
Yeah.
Okay.
The medication I think was definitely helping in many ways, especially with her being more curious and at least sniffing when she's outside. And then I think the other thing too is there's this cat. I don't know if it's like ran away or if it doesn't have a home or something, and it's like kind of roaming around our neighborhood. And I think that helps too because Winnie's constantly every night like wanting to look for the cat. Um, so yeah, that's been a thing too. So I think
Is she
all those
looking
things combined are helping.
she's looking for the cat in a I want to interact with it way, or I'm nervous about the cat kind of way, or do we know?
No, I think to interact with
Yeah, because we also,
Okay.
for context, we have a family cat at my parents' house, and the cat will stay away from Winnie, but Winnie's always crying because she wants to play with the cat. So,
Got
she's
it.
very used to like a cat, cats and dogs, I would say, or a cat and
Got
dogs.
it.
Hmm.
Okay. That makes more sense then. Yeah, it would make sense that she's trying to patrol and find the cat that's wandering around. Are you noticing that as she's out more, I mean, pre-Junie or not, is her body language outside, especially now with Junie, actually looking like it's relaxed? Like, is she out there just because Junie is and because we all want to be out there, or are you noticing, like, sure, she's sniffing, but she's not reacting to sounds the way that she was before? Like, are you seeing a decrease in some of those other behaviors?
I personally am. Of course, like in the beginning, it's always kind of like, okay, like, I don't know if I want to do this, but then she'll go. And usually, like at the first sight of a person, she'll want to immediately run away. And she does sometimes still. But the other day, there was a man like walking on the street, and then she actually did turn around, but she walked nicely. Like she
Okay.
turned around when she saw him because she kind of wanted to avoid it. But she'll pull and run away, but she just walked nicely like back to towards the house.
And even I would say
Okay.
yesterday, there was quite a few people because again, we kept on going back and forth, back and forth. And so there kept on being people that were walking by. And so, like I said, she would observe them. And then, but if she was out of the gate already and they were like too close for comfort, she would just go behind the gate. So she would still retreat, but still stay
Okay.
close. So she would go behind the gate and still watch them and then leave out of the gate once they passed us and then go sniff where they walk. So I feel like that's already an improvement. So she definitely
Excellent.
still has her moments outside, but I'm also seeing like I would say for the most part when she's outside, her tail is mostly straight down. It's not as tucked in anymore. Like before it was tucked in the whole time. And now
Yeah.
it's not tucked in, but it's just straight down. And then when she's playing with Junie, it's up and it'll be up for a little, even a little bit after they're done playing,
Okay.
until it goes straight again. So, and then I'm also noticing like her ears. I feel like she's not, she's still alert, but maybe not as like constant as she once was. Like she still has her one ear up, but she doesn't look as stressed in terms of like how she's monitoring, I guess. I don't know if I'm
Okay.
explaining that well.
Okay. Yeah, so she's not like every 2 seconds, like who's there? What's that? Oh my God. But her ears are like, I'm still kind of alert to whatever's happening. It's just not as intense, is what it sounds like.
Yeah. And I think she
Okay.
lately she's only had one ear up. Instead of, I can't remember. I think it's only been one that she's had up actually.
That's gotta look adorable, first of all. Let's
Yeah.
just all stop and say how adorable that is.
Yeah.
Okay. That's tremendous. So all of this is wonderful, wonderful to hear. I think if she's at the point where she is able to be outside, and like you said, like she'll notice the people, and depending on the distance and her comfort level, she'll move behind the gate and then maybe come back when the person is gone. If she's at a reasonable enough distance away, do you want to start working on things that we can do to try to change her association to the person passing by? Like, do you want to do any of that sort of stuff to work on that for her?
Yeah, I feel like we should.
I guess I'm going to say it depends for my
Okay.
answer. And that's because I noticed yesterday when we were walking, she was going to walk the route that we used to walk, like all the way down to the end to the corner. But then as soon as because then there was like I think a firework or something, and basically a noise, and then she
Hmm.
was gonna keep walking. But then I think at that point my sister had asked her, oh, like look, a treat, here's a treat, like great job. And then after that it was like, oh, something is wrong, so I'm gonna walk back. So instead of walking to the corner, she kind of turned around and we walked back a different way. So I guess my only concern is that when we're outside still, I feel like if I speak to her, that's her excuse to like, oh, I'm afraid now. Like, let me turn around. But if I don't say anything and I
Interesting.
literally just follow her lead, she'll take me wherever. So I feel like I literally can't speak or I can't even offer her treats. So I guess it would depend on how we do that and what that looks like.
Gotcha.
That's just my own
So,
personal take.
yeah, that makes sense, especially if so far we've been using verbal praise or whatever basically to distract her or to move her from a scary thing or to say, it's not a scary thing, you're going to be okay. Either way, we're
Hmm.
using our voice, our words, right? So to her, it might be, mom only talks to me when the scary thing is about to happen or did happen type of
Hmm.
deal.
Yeah.
So one of the things we could do to try to navigate that is just incorporate talking to her more often to see what that does. Like just, and it can be she did something good and we want to reward her for that. And so we're like, yes. And then we give her a treat, like
Hmm.
for sniffing something or for giving you eye contact. It could even be something as simple as she's standing there and doing whatever, and then she turns and looks at you. Yes, treat.
Hmm.
That way she's rewarded for like nothing special happened, but she looked at you. So that's one way that we can go about it. We can also practice that at home just to be like, this happens inside and outside. This happens anytime. So she gets used to the fact that when we talk to you when there's food, it doesn't mean something scary is happening. It could be that this is just a fun training session. This is just something neutral or fun that's happening. What do you think?
Okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense. That's what they taught us before. We haven't done it in a while, but when we were first teaching her how to walk, they had us like every 10 steps. If she looked back or we called her and she looked back at us, we give her a treat. So it sounds like basically something similar of like, let's give her treats and that kind of praise or that kind of thing throughout the day and not just when we're outside and something scary happens.
Yeah, basically, let's think of ways to praise her for making good decisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't need to be anything super complex, but yes, it can be indoors, it can be outdoors. I think set the bar low for yourself to make it easy. That's why I thought of just giving you eye contact because that's pretty
Yeah.
easy, right? And then you don't need to I mean, if you want to ask for her to look at you, like you said, you did the training for every 10 steps, you would say a cue or her name or something, and she'd
Mm-hmm.
look at you. You could do that, or you can just wait for like it to genuinely happen. Either
Yeah.
way, I don't tend to use their name when I want the eye contact. I tend to either make a sound or I use a different word altogether.
Okay.
But whatever your preference is. And it doesn't need to be that. We can just be like, cool, we're going to start rewarding her for or we're just going to do fun training sessions during the day that don't have anything to do with eye contact. We can pick something else where we're just doing this is the thing we want to work on, and you get reinforced for it, and something that like carries outside too. Like, does she know how to like touch her nose to your hand, for example, a hand target?
So we did that when we first taught her like come, and we do that. Now we haven't done it so much, but that's something we can practice with her.
Yeah. And I would say
Yeah.
too, I like your suggestion of like the eye contact because I noticed too
Okay.
that that's how she communicates to us. So like if she wants to go outside of the gate and explore the busy street, she'll just look at us to open it. If she wants to go back in, she'll just look at us. And then so we already kind of have that I guess unspoken communication. And so I think it'll be
Yeah.
easy to give her a treat during those moments.
Yeah, great. And remembering that the verbal is part of what
Yeah.
comes with that, right? So when she looks at you, yes, or thank you,
Mhm.
and then treat, right? That way
Okay.
she's getting used to you
Yeah.
talking to her when you guys are out on a walk. I mean, as often as you guys are out on a walk, do you talk to each other? It sounds like she notices when she's being talked to as opposed to you guys just talking to each other.
Yeah, we usually talk to each other and then we're usually laughing. And
Okay.
my sister usually has Junie, so she's just like telling her, not to be eating stuff on the floor. So, yeah, there's definitely lots of talking. And I think yeah, I think when it happened in those moments, maybe we had just gotten quiet and then a sound happened. And then it was like, oh, let's
Ah,
distract her kind of thing.
sure.
But usually we're talking throughout, like just lollygagging
Okay.
throughout the walks.
Yeah, don't change that then. If
Mhm.
anything, maybe this was a fluke thing where right before the scary thing happened, there was a moment of silence, so it created more emphasis around that at that particular time. And if she still chooses because of that, how that was structured, and that she decides I was a little bit afraid and want to turn back, I don't think that's the biggest deal in the grand
Mhm.
scheme of like how she's doing and
Yeah.
how well she responds. So, okay,
Yeah, because it was still a
okay.
win. She still did a walk farther than she ever has in that direction. So,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, the other thing you can do then, so if we want to start incorporating verbal praise when she checks in with you on walks, just to get her used to, hey, you can get treats for looking at me and I'm talking to you. That doesn't mean something scary is happening. You can also, if you feel comfortable, if she notices something from far away, maybe there's someone riding their bike, but they're not close or like further away, and she looks at them, she can get rewarded for looking at them but not reacting.
Mhm.
So she doesn't have to do anything to earn that treat except not have an explosion of reactions or emotions. That's basically
yeah.
it. She looks at the thing passing by and she's like, "Oh, I wonder what's going on with that. Should I be concerned?" You can be like, "Yes," and give her a treat for just looking at the thing and not having a big blow up
Okay.
about it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that sounds great because she's been more observant. So I think that's more easy wins to do with her for things
Okay.
she's already been doing, thankfully. And then I guess my
Yeah.
only question is even if we bring high value treats for her outside, like I'm just wondering, would yes be enough if we offer her a treat and she doesn't take it? Is it still kind of doing what we wanted to
Hmm.
do if she's not taking the treat?
Yeah, she doesn't always take treats no matter what it is if she's like locked in on something that she's not sure about.
Okay. That's good information then. So if she's not taking treats, then as much as we're like, yes, we want to reward you for doing this good thing, maybe that's actually not a good distance because she's saying, I'm still too nervous to eat food. So actually, while I didn't have a big explosion, I'm not under my threshold yet where I can eat food. We should
Oh,
increase distance next time.
Okay.
okay.
Right. So I still like that you have that as information. That's good to know. But that just tells us, okay, cool. You don't want that? My bad. I guess we need to be a little bit further away and then we'll try to reward you for that. So I would still try to reward her because you're not going to have the answer to that unless you try to reward her. Right.
Mhm.
So that will tell you, are we close and are we at a good distance or do we need to back up a little bit further? Does that help?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's both of those combined would be easy things that don't require a lot of skill and work from her right now, aside from
Mhm.
just don't have a big reaction to whatever the thing is. And you guys are
Hmm.
great about observing her body language. All of the examples that you've given so far about her tail and her ears,
Yeah.
it warms my heart that you're seeing it that way. Excellent. Okay. Eventually, I think what you might find if you do this enough, this game we call it engage, disengage, where she looks at the thing and then she doesn't react, so you give her a treat.
Hmm.
Like I said before, she doesn't have to do anything, but if you do this over enough time, what you should notice is that one of these days it's going to click for her and she's going to look at the thing and then she's going to be like, Mom? And then she's going to turn and look at you. That's
Hmm.
tremendous. That's
Yeah.
tremendous. That's a sign
Hmm.
of progress because now she's looking at you as her safety person to help determine, should I be concerned or not, Mom? What do you think? That way she doesn't have to decide necessarily for herself if we need to get out of town here. Like, do we need to
Yeah.
leave? So she'll look at you for that added security.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's like the goal is we want her to know that we're going to protect her and that it's safe and that she can follow us. So definitely looking forward to eventually getting to that place.
Yeah. Yeah. And once she gets to a point where she's doing that more often and you have a pretty good feeling of distance and you feel like it's closing in a little bit, we can get a little bit more structured in saying, look at the scary thing. Like
Hmm.
actually ask her to look at the scary thing, or here is a structured way for you to approach a thing that you feel is scary, but that's not actually scary. So we can make that into a game where she still has some control and choice to go towards the scary thing and then come back from the scary thing. So these are
Yeah.
things that we can build on over time. I think first, though, I want her to just enjoy this little zone of I'm finally going outside for longer periods of time without being terrified. So
Yeah.
these kinds of
Hmm.
games that we talked about today are very low stress and they reward her without asking too much of her at this point.
Hmm. Yeah. That makes
Okay.
sense. And I guess the other question would be, and maybe this is too much, but she used to love, as we know, going on the balcony. Would that being
Yeah.
something that at this point we can kind of reintroduce where we're not going to force her out there, but like we'll leave the door open in case she wants to go out there type of thing? Or what do you think about the balcony?
Yeah, good question. I think let's I think it's worth let's see what happens because part of it was the sounds out there, right? And
Mhm.
given that she's doing well with the walks with Junie outside, I mean, if Junie's around near the balcony, is she going
Mhm.
to care as much? Don't know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
wait,
don't know.
in the past, like with my cousin's dog, when they've been over and they go on the balcony, she'll stay out there because like they're out there. Like even before when she got like became terrified of the balcony all of a sudden, my cousin's dog was on it. And then she just like, oh, okay, like at her own pace, she ended up being out there and they were sitting out there and just like staring. So I feel like if Junie, if she sees her there, she'll
Okay.
probably be less scared. But of course, like if we see her body language and she's like absolutely not, then we'll just abort it. But
And then something I also forgot to mention because that reminded me of it. So even though she was on the balcony with the cousins, she would still pant a lot because that's another thing that she does whenever
Mm,
she's stressed. But I
yeah.
noticed like lately on even on the walk, she's not panting as much. Like she's not even panting. She might pant for a couple seconds, but it's not throughout the entire time. So like that's a
Okay.
positive too. So that's
Okay.
another thing that we can look out for is like if we leave the balcony door open and then Judy goes out there and she goes with her, is she panting or how is she like what's her body language? Because I feel like
Yeah.
that's decreased as well.
Yeah. 100%. 100% all of the things that you said there. And I mean, panting here and there may or may not be a bad thing. It's looking at it in context of what else is happening at the time, right? And it could also be fluid, where maybe
Yeah.
she's nervous around this particular area, but she goes a few more feet and she's like, nope, I'm good now. So it can
Yeah.
be a
It
little
wasn't like the
difficult to
stressful
determine.
panting. Yeah.
Okay.
It didn't feel like a
Yeah.
stressful pant. It just felt like we've been walking more than she's probably used to these
and
days.
it was hot
And then
outside.
it was hot. So,
Yeah. Fair.
but
Yeah,
either way, I
that's
wanted to
fair.
say that I noticed her panting is less. I'll be
Love
curious to
that.
see what that looks like in the car though, because we haven't taken her in the car. So,
Okay. And she does historically get super nervous in the car.
Yeah.
Have
Like
they been in the,
even
sorry,
going to daycare, for example, even though she loves daycare and she knows where we're going, she does it. So I'll be curious to see. We're taking her on Tuesday. So I'll be curious to see if she's gonna like how is she gonna be. But I have a feeling she's gonna be definitely a lot more calm how she's been exhibiting the behaviors outside.
is she going to daycare with Junie or is Junie not going to daycare?
No, Junie's not going to daycare, so she'll be going by
Okay.
herself for the next like couple weeks. So we're not planning on taking Junie until she's like I think 15 or 16 weeks.
For all her
So we're
shots
gonna
and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So we're gonna wait a little bit longer for that, and then they'll go together
Okay. Has she been separated from Junie yet?
Yeah, so the like what's
for a couple hours.
yesterday and then the day before like oh my god, when? What's today? Wednesday and Monday and Wednesday I took Junie out just for a couple hours, to the store to kind of socialize her a little. So she was away from her for a little bit. And then when I would come back, she'd be excited to see her. So yeah, she's been away from her, not for like a super long time, but just for a little bit.
Okay. How did she do in the time that Junie was away?
She did fine. I think she definitely like whined a little bit, like she was a little sad. But then she was like hang out by me and just like chill until they got back. So she wasn't doing
Okay.
anything like crazy other than just like the little bit of whining in the beginning when they first left.
Okay. That's fair enough. I think if that happens again, where you want to take Junie out on a little excursion and you're keeping Winnie home, if you think of it, give her a long-term calming project to work on, especially if
Okay.
Junie leaves, to be like, Junie leaving equals you get this awesome thing all by yourself, right? And let's try to pair
Hmm.
those as a positive thing. But going to daycare, I feel is a little bit different. That's going to be fun for Winnie, right? If anything, you
Yeah.
might want to do the opposite and give something to Junie when Winnie
Yeah.
leaves. That way they
Yeah.
each know when the other one leaves, it's cool. Something good is still in it for you back home, right?
Yeah, that makes complete sense. Yeah.
Okay. As far as the car goes though, yeah, so Junie won't be in the car when she goes there. Okay, yeah, I guess we'll see how that goes. Does she you
I
can
could
bring
try
with
maybe taking like a popsicle, maybe.
That's what I was gonna say. There's a chance she may not engage with it if she's still
Yeah.
over threshold, and that's okay, but that's information, right? That's still
Mhm.
good to know. But maybe bring a popsicle or a chew of some sort. Just have something that if she wanted to, she could work on to kind of get out those stressful vibes that she's got. And if she doesn't, okay, then we know that car rides are still something that we're gonna work on, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Just making sure I write all this down so I remember. Okay, excellent. Um, Anything else that you folks wanted to bring up about how things are going with Junie now in the house or changes with Winnie?
I don't think so. I think things have been going pretty well. I actually maybe the only thing, and I don't know if we should bring this up to her doctor, is that it's been kind of hit or miss with her eating her breakfast in the morning. We're not sure if it's because the medication or if because now we're getting up a little bit earlier because of course we have a puppy now. So maybe she's still adjusting to like the earlier time of eating and waking up. But yeah, this year probably the only thing that we've been a little bit struggling with is just the hit or miss with her breakfast, especially on days where we want to take her to daycare and she literally has nothing in her stomach. Or I shouldn't say nothing because we'll obviously give her treats and stuff, but like no food in her
Full
stomach.
meal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
meal, like full meal.
When did you first start noticing that her appetite in the morning was kind of waning a little bit? Was it like compared to when you started the medications?
Great question. I feel like it's honestly just been on and off. So it's kind of hard to say. If I had to make an assumption, maybe like 2 weeks after she started her medication, but then it would be on and off since then. So it hasn't been like a consistent thing. And we've been switching her food a little bit because we noticed, like, for example, for a while she like wasn't liking her kibble. So then we would try like the wet food. And then so we've been trying different things and just trying to find something that like is appetizing to her because she looked just like kind of disgusted, like she just like was
Oh,
not feel, like when you're like don't like
yeah,
you're like, oh, I don't want to eat this, like that's how she
yeah.
kind of looked. So we've been trying to like figure it out, but she's been eating dinner fine.
Okay,
So yeah, we're not really sure, but it's been on and off.
okay. Yeah, I'm looking back at my notes here and saying that she was a moderately predictable eater even before you met with
Yeah.
Dr. Chocola. So this is like a historical thing for her to not be 100% solid with her appetite, which could be due to stress. It sounds like you guys noticed that like during higher times of stress, that's probably more pronounced with her appetite. Um, I'm glad it doesn't sound like it's getting worse. It sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, it's just still there.
Yeah, because we're just at least she's eating her dinner. Because I think before,
Yeah.
when she was on the other medication, she wouldn't want to eat anything. Like it would be hard to even give her dinner.
Okay.
Versus now she at least consistently eats her dinner, and then of course we give her treats throughout the day. So yeah, it's been kind of steady from that
Does
perspective.
she, okay. Any, how are her poops and like vomiting, anything like
No,
that?
no vomiting, but her poops are normal. They're fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
consistent.
Is she gassy?
No, not yeah, not I've never noticed. Yeah, not really. I don't think
Okay.
so. Never
Okay.
smelled it.
Okay. That's probably a very fortunate thing for you.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know we went through a lot of these questions in our first consultation too, to be like, is there an underlying GI thing that could be contributing to her behavior? Because they're so closely related, medical issues and behavior issues. So it's hard to tell sometimes or suss out, is the appetite issue because of her behavior? Or are there appetite issues that are causing changes in behavior?
Hmm.
Like what caused what? I think it's noteworthy to share with Dr. Jokala, if anything, so that she's got a baseline of, like, I'm sure you mentioned it when you met with her the first time that
Yeah.
appetite is not always consistent, but especially if you go through adjustments in medications at any point with
Hmm.
Dr. Jokala, this would be good to know. That way
Okay.
she has something to compare against. And for you guys too, just mentally keeping track of, is this same, better, or worse than before she started medications? And have that same mentality anytime something is changed. Because anytime a new medication is either started or an existing medication is increased, like adjusted, there's going to be a small window for side effects to happen in the first like 2 weeks following that change.
Uh-huh.
So it's going to be like a recurring theme anytime something is adjusted with her medications.
Oh, okay. That makes
Um,
sense. So we're not necessarily out of the woodworks because we're changing pretty much every week. We're kind of increasing her dose at some point in the
yeah,
day. That makes
that
sense
makes sense
that,
then.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's because every time you make an adjustment, and the reason why she probably instructed that you do that slowly over time is because we're trying to minimize those kinds of side effects. So we do
Yeah.
small bumps frequently as opposed to just doing like one big jump and then 5 weeks later another
Yeah.
big jump, right? So it might be a hot minute then until you get to a stable dose. I imagine that you're looking for a dose where she has the most positive effects on her behavior without having any negative side effects, like GI side effects. That's probably
Hmm.
what the goal is. So in the
Hmm.
meantime, monitoring the baseline, like I said, one good way to think about it and the way I usually explain it to my clients is I am not going to be surprised and I will not panic if I make an adjustment in medication and for like the following few days or even up to a week, my dog has side effects, as long as the side effects are mild. So if there's, like you said, she's eating dinner. She's not always great about breakfast. Like sometimes she will eat breakfast, but not always.
Hmm.
It's like, okay, is this severe enough for me to be like, let's go back? It's like, well, she was having this problem before the meds anyway. Right.
Yeah.
So that's
Hmm.
kind of what I would think of. Certainly if she's going a couple days without eating or a whole day where she's like eating nothing, or if she's also having vomiting, diarrhea, uh, low energy, like anything else where it's like the side effects are compounding, that is beyond mild. Now that's
Mhm.
severe, and that would be cause to be like, nope, let's just stop here. Let's contact the doctor and see what they want us to do. Because if you
Okay.
get to a point where that does happen, then maybe that dose is not the right dose for her, or the medication maybe is not the best fit for her. Either way, right? That's just good to share with Dr. Jokula so they can tailor a different plan. Where are you in the scheme of adjustments? Like, are you almost towards like the end of the plan, or are you in the middle? Do you know? Do you
Yeah,
remember?
we're so this is week 4 and then this goes so after week 5 it'll be consistent. And we're on week 4.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we're almost to the consistent schedule.
Okay. So once you get to that point, I think that'll make it a little bit easier to tell to what food do you like? Because right now you're battling so many things, right? It may not be that she doesn't like the food. It may be the medication as is causing something as a side effect, an upset stomach as a side effect. So maybe it's not the food, maybe it's the medication, and we just need to give it some time to like get that out of her system. Most mild side effects go away after about 1 week by themselves without you
Mhm.
having to do anything. So once you get to the end of messing with the doses, that's when you can really be like, okay, let's give this 2 weeks. Let's see where we're at. Are there changes in appetite? And then we can see what's left over, what's residual. If there's side effects that are still persistent after 2 weeks from the last change you made, I don't know about that. I would mention that to the doctor. Because side
Okay.
effects, like I said, I only want them to be there for a few days and only if they're mild. Then I say, wait it out. But if it's going on like 2+ weeks and the side effects are still there, especially if they're significant, I don't really like that. So we should probably
Mhm.
reach out to the doctor. And if you're not sure if it's severe versus mild, ask the doctor. Like
Okay.
your best bet is just to share what you're observing with them. And if you're keeping track of this is how many meals she's missed, like in the last X amount of days, that sort of thing, that would be helpful. The number of times or the specific diets that you've tried, I think will also be helpful. Like that whole timeline will. That
Okay.
way they know what to do next.
Okay, that sounds good. We can add that like because we have like a little chart that we keep of her, like to make sure we give her her medication. So we have a notes section, so we can just add
Beautiful.
on there, maybe like an X or something if she didn't eat breakfast, or yeah, we can add something a note on there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know you said she never vomits, but even in the morning when she's like turning her nose up at the breakfast, she doesn't ever spit up. Like it's just,
No.
I just don't want it. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like, never mind, I don't want this. But again, like you said, I had forgot that we've been increasing every week the dose. So I didn't even take that into consideration because I just forgot about that. But yeah, that could possibly be it.
Yeah. And she
Yeah.
did the old medication she did vomit a couple of times on. So
Hmm.
with this one she hasn't. So I feel like the only side effects that I've noticed that she's had is that she doesn't eat her breakfast always. So I feel like that's the only thing I've noticed personally.
Okay.
Her energy,
Yeah.
I mean, she still naps throughout the day, but nothing extreme. She still plays, right? Like so yeah, I haven't noticed like extreme fatigue or anything either.
Okay. Good. Good, good. Then I don't think you need to panic about the whole appetite thing, but and you guys are meeting with Dr. Jokla again. It's not until August, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So send her an email once you get to like 1 to 2 weeks after the final change to be like, this is where we're at. This is what we're
Okay.
seeing with appetite. Because I don't want you to wait until August to share that with her in case she wants to
Yeah.
make a change.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do.
Okay. Yeah, Thursday, the August 18th. Okay. Um, I forgot what else I was going to say about that. I don't remember. We just talked about a bunch of stuff, GI things. Anything else that you guys wanted to mention or talk about?
I don't think so. I think we covered
Okay.
everything.
Okay. I think that's decent for today. I think we're also meeting next week since we changed the timeline a little bit. So I was going to ask you about that too. I have
Let
you
me
guys
see. Yeah, because I wasn't sure how to like edit it where I can just move it. But if we're able to meet on the 9th instead, that'll work for us.
Okay, let's see what we can do here. Because I know we had a few like already pre-scheduled, which makes life super easy. So we can just push one of those out. So today is 25th and then the 9th. Okay, so the 9th you said that you'd rather meet then?
Yeah.
Okay. It looks like I have openings the 9th or the 10th. So let me do this before we hang up here. So today is the 25th, and we're gonna go to the 2nd. Schedule. July 9th. So July 9th is a Thursday. I have 4 o'clock. I know you guys like that time. Otherwise, we can do earlier.
Do you have a preference?
I don't have a preference. I'm on off Thursdays.
Okay, so maybe let's do we can just do earlier that day. I can
Yeah,
do
I
any time after like 1:30.
1:30. I have 1:30 exactly. Otherwise, I can
Okay.
do 3 o'clock.
Yeah, maybe let's do 1:30.
Okay, so let me move that right now. Beautiful. Okay, so I just rescheduled. So we are no longer meeting next week on July 2nd. How is it July already?
I
We're
know.
instead meeting on July 9th at
Yep.
1:30. Okay, so you'll get that confirmation in a hot second here. Okay, yeah, but I think this for now, because I'm sure too that having a new puppy in the house, like you've got your hands full, right? With just all of the puppy things, and while things are going well with them together, it's still a lot on your plate. So I think next session then, depending on how things are going, we can build on more skills like for the separation related behaviors. Now, mind you, I'm guessing you haven't left Winnie and Junie home alone together, right?
We only had to once, and that was on Father's Day. And it was only for how long were we gone for? Dinner was at
Just a
what's
few
like
hours.
yeah, just a few hours. So we did a late dinner, and then we got back right after dinner.
Okay.
So that was the only time that we left them home alone together.
How did it go? How'd they do?
They did well.
Yeah.
Junie was in her crate sleeping. And then Winnie was just hanging out around the house. She'd go check on her, sometimes by the crate and like, hey, like, are you in there? I want to play, but I know you can't play right now, type of thing. But she'd check on her, go back in the living room. But yeah, she was calm.
Yeah.
She did well.
And I felt like, and I don't know if I'm just like making this up because everything has been going so well lately, but I felt like too, she was actually able to sleep. Like, yeah, there were moments where she did get up to go check on her, and I'm sure she probably did a little bit of pacing, if I remember correctly, but she actually was able to like take a nap. And I don't think she's ever done that
Nice.
when she's been alone.
Yeah, I mean, normally it would be the pacing, panting, hypervigilance, unable to settle, anxious stuff. None of that
Hmm.
was happening. Like just maybe
Yeah.
some, I'll go check on Junie,
Yeah, I would say
right?
like
But
maybe like a minor version of that. It felt like she was definitely more relaxed than she's ever been left alone.
wow. And that's with Junie sleeping.
Yeah. And in her crate. Because I feel like she's been doing
Wow.
that a lot too. I think she feels comfort. Like even when at the first few days, we were all sleeping in my room together, and we had Junie in the crate, and then we had Winnie on the bed with us. And I noticed that like with each day that passed, she kept on moving closer and closer to the crate. And even right now, she's napping and she's in front of like the crate area. So I just think she feels like just safer with having somebody there with her, like her little sister there with her.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay, then I think we can still work on building some independence and building some skills for lesser arousal for the times that Junie won't be there, and if it ever
Mhm.
happens that you do need to leave her home alone or something. So, okay. It sounds like things are promising, but I don't want to say like we're out of the woods with her
Yeah,
separation
no, yeah, no,
behaviors,
definitely not.
right? So,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
But things are
Okay.
looking up. Like we're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, which I don't think we saw before. So it's
Yeah,
been nice.
yeah. Absolutely. Okay, I'm excited about this. Then let's focus on these topics for these next couple of weeks. So I'll send you the training worksheet and let me go back here. So we're going to highlight that we're going to praise her for making good decisions like eye contact on walks, right? So that way she's used to us giving verbal praise. She's used to getting treats when good things are happening. You can also reward her when she's noticing a scary thing but doesn't react. That's totally fine too. You can try that out on the balcony. It sounds like you guys are doing an awesome job at monitoring her body language. So you'll be able to tell if she's going out there just because of like FOMO, because she doesn't want to be
Yeah.
away from Junie versus no, I'm actually okay with being out here because there's a difference, right? And you guys said that you've
Yeah.
you've seen that before. You can tell the difference. Um, Trying a chewy thing or a popsicle or something in the car for when she goes to daycare. And anytime either one goes somewhere without the other, giving the other one that's staying home a long-term calming project to work on, just to be like, the association of other dog leaving means current dog still gets something wonderful happening.
Okay.
Um,
And should we
and
do
then
that also whenever, because there's been a couple times where my sister has had to take Junie out for potty only. And that's because like Winnie just wouldn't want to go. Like that was a time where she just not, now is not the time of day that she wanted to go.
Mhm.
So I guess that would be another good time to do the puzzle, right? As well. That way she's not like wondering why are they going outside and I'm not, or just for
Sure.
moments where they're gone for longer.
I think it's up to you,
All
right?
right.
It doesn't sound like she's got any issues with her weight. And it also depends on your level of bandwidth because you can give her like a project and activity to work on for those times. Awesome. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care. You can
Okay.
also just do like a 2-minute training session while they're
Mm-hmm.
outside. Like maybe that's when we're going to work on hand target or
Mm-hmm.
whatever else as a way of, hey, just interact with me and do something. But that assumes you have the bandwidth to do it. I think too that if you're going to give her a chewy or a licky thing to work on, after she's done with that, continue to capture de-escalation and calm
Mm-hmm.
behavior. I know we talked about that
Yeah.
last time, and that's still continue doing that throughout the day. Honestly, you can do this with Junie too, because it's
Mm-hmm.
teaching both dogs that you either being calm is a good thing, or you coming down from a lower level of arousal is a good thing. And a good time to
Yeah.
capture the de-escalation is after working on a long-term calming project, because that's kind of the
Okay.
point of those is to
Mm-hmm.
lower the arousal. So that's a good time to be like, cool, she's done with that calm. I'm going to watch her for 2 minutes. And as she's calming more and more down, I'm going to reward her. I'm going to walk up
Okay.
to her and just say, yes, treat. And then she decided to lay down. Yes, treat. Then she laid on her side. Yes, treat, and so on and so forth. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah, it does. Junie definitely needs that. So I like the idea of
I
doing her
figured.
too.
I figured. And she's gonna have a whole different level of body language
Yeah.
spectrum. Her
Yeah.
levels, her ladders of arousal and de-escalation are gonna look different than Winnie's
Mm-hmm.
because she's a whole
Yeah.
different dog.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, just
Yeah.
learning to be calm and to calm
Mhm.
herself down as a puppy is going to be a useful skill anyway, for
Yeah.
sure.
100%.
She's definitely the opposite dog because she loves, if a car drives by, she wants to chase it. If
Oh
a
yeah,
person's
awesome.
walking by, she wants to chase them. So definitely a different personality. So
Yeah, whole different set of things to work on with her is
yeah,
what it sounds like. So, yeah, like I said, you'll have your hands full.
yeah,
Um, and in our future sessions too, if you do find that there's something with Junie that you want to work on, like we can talk about that. So these sessions aren't just like 100% Winnie. Clearly, that's
Yeah.
why we're here, right? And what we want to focus on for the most part. But if something comes up
Yeah.
with Junie, I'm here for the whole household, basically.
Okay.
So whether
Thank
it's
you.
Winnie,
Appreciate that.
Junie, the
Mhm.
combination, managing the dynamics between them, whatever it is, we're here to help everything just run a little bit more smoothly.
Sounds great. Thank you. We really appreciate that.
Good, good. Okay, well, let's leave it at that, I think. I'll get your
Yep.
training worksheet by the end of the day. And if you have any questions between now and when we meet again in 2 weeks, you know where to find me. You can send me questions, updates, videos, any number of those things. And otherwise, if I don't hear from you, I'm going to assume things are going well.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then we'll touch base in another couple weeks.
Okay. Sounds great. Thank you so much.
You're
Okay.
welcome. You both have a good rest of your day. See you
Thank
next
you.
time.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye.